Hello, hello, everybody. I know,
Hello.
hello. I know it's been a minute. Like it's been like a very long minute. But guess what? Life is in transition and still doing the things. So, welcome everybody that is here. This has been a long awaited truth talk because both of us had scheduling issues and our lives just went blah. So, here we are. We're here, we're queer, our joint pain is moderate to severe. We want to talk about some stuff. So, without any further ado, this is my very good friend, Anthony. He is like family to me. And when I say that, it's not in a toxic way because we are chosen family. You
Mhm.
lived with me for what, almost 2 years?
Yeah.
I miss you all the time.
hmm
We've worked together, we've
hmm
played together. I mean, it's like you're my brother from another mother, and
We're
I
from about
freaking
it.
love
You
you.
can't get rid of me.
You can't, no, never, ever, ever. But you had also, I had asked you, gosh, was it like around holiday season? I'm like, would you be interested in being on Truth Talk? Because I don't think you've ever been,
Mm-mm.
right? Okay. And he accepted the challenge, and here we are. So, Anthony,
hmm
tell me about yourself.
So I like long walks on the beach.
Okay.
I'm a Virgo.
I like it.
But all in all, I'm just a weirdo. I'm just trying to live my best life. I'm trying to, I just trying to find meaning in the relationships that I kind of have with people.
Mhm.
The relationships that we kind of grew up in.
Yeah.
The parenting styles. We grew up in very dark places where we really felt that it
Yeah.
was tough to find meaningful connections, and when we did, we
Yeah.
latched on and
Yeah.
we would not let go. I know it's a little heavy, but like it,
Okay.
it, it helped
This
us
is the
grow.
place. This is the place for heavy. This is absolutely the place for heavy. So, like, we'll give viewers a little bit of some trigger warnings. And so, if we go down any like drugs, all the other things, right? All the things. If you go through any of that other stuff, just give them just a little bit of a trigger warning before you go into it. I've been blindsided before.
Yeah.
So I want to protect our viewers, but also you and I bonded on some very heavy things.
Mhm.
Um, and it's no secret that I had a rough upbringing. You and I have talked a little bit about that. I am rediscovering a whole lot of things now that I have grandkids in my house. And there's different personality styles. And now there's different parenting styles that are it was not available to me when I was raising my kids. And then I was going off of what I thought I knew, but still trying not to be what my mother was. And I'm
Mhm.
like, where's this balance? And how do we figure that out? And just even learning about brain science and neuroscience now, and what is like, I'm sure you've heard this term, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. That
Mhm.
has been told to me. Um, and then that person is no longer a safe place. You know that you're going to get your food or whatever from them, but the truth of the matter is that's not really a safe place. That then will teach a child to lie, teach a child to like just pacify you. You're never really going to get the truth out of them,
Mhm.
because they're just fearful of you. And just learning these things now and trying to understand each of my grandkids and how they react to certain things. And maybe because I just have more patience now, because
Oh no.
I'm on Instagram a lot these days, just trying to figure things out to try to make it better for my daughter in law and son, and then for us as a household. So I know how things were
Mhm.
from my perspective. And I know personally we've had some very deep talks, but you're welcome to go into it. And I'm right here for you
Yeah,
because I always
and
will be. And I
just
always
kind
will
of
be.
going from scratch, like when I say that, you are a brother or a sister to me, like I truly mean it because that means a lot coming from me because that, I when it comes to chosen family, I choose my family. I choose the people that bring me joy, that spark so much laughter in me, and like that bring out the best of me. But also the people that are going to be there with me when I'm sitting in my worst.
Yeah.
And it's a lifelong learning process when you're kind of overcoming all those bad habits, all those horrible things that were told to you that were never true. you know they
Yeah.
never were. And so if there's anything you can take away, just strive to find at least that one person in your life that really resonates with you. It could be a partner, it could be a friend, it could be somebody just close to you. And just you know don't be afraid to be able to make those meaningful connections, because in this day and age especially,
Hmm.
we need the people that
Hmm.
really bring us a lot of like joy and laughter to be around. Because
Yeah.
we're living in grim times, like, support is essential, it's
Living in
needed.
grim times, boy, shoot, that's a that's a t-shirt. That is a t-shirt. Um, I will say also that, not to say that all blood family is bad, because I still have connections with some of my blood family, but as an adult and learning that certain things they had not healed from, certain people, that I needed to love them from a distance. And it doesn't mean that I have severed my heart connections with those people, because I still really, really love them and I care about them. I often light candles for them or do petitions for them, or, things of that nature. I write them down in my journal or my book of shadows, or, anything and everything. Like, I still have that connection and I want it to be better. And I think that me lighting the candles and doing those things is just creating an open door of hope that something will happen later. But it's not up to me right now, and it's not up to the universe. So, not all family is bad, but you and I have found that we have deeper connections with people that aren't blood related. It seems, and I don't know why that is. I really don't know why that is. I'm not a scientist or a counselor by any means. It's truth talk. We're just trying to figure it all out. But
Well, yeah, and it's
yeah,
true. You came into the kitchen in mornings where me and Bear were talking about aliens for 3 hours,
I
and
know.
you're
I'm
like,
like,
oh, let me just,
I'm just
but
like,
like,
I know Nathan and I are just like, we're gonna go watch something.
they're talking about aliens again.
Leave that alone.
Oh, are you caught up on Evil? Let's go catch up over there.
Right? For sure.
But like, find the people in your life that you can have talk about aliens, random
Yeah,
stuff with, and growing up, that was finding those connections was always hard for me. And I kind of got battered and beaten until I kind of put up walls, but then I
yeah,
kind of overcorrected. I had way too many walls that nobody could get past,
yeah,
as a kid, I grew up, in a Hispanic household where you had to be the man of the house. It was very machismo, like hyper masculine energy,
mhm,
and I was very like soft, like loving energy as a kid. I wanted to talk to you about whatever your interests were. I wanted to
right,
know all about you, and both my parents were like always absent, or they would vehemently just get off of me. Like, that's not what we do here. If
yeah,
you want to know something, like, if you need something to do, I'll give you something to do. Like,
yeah.
uh, and um,
That's very true.
with my mom, I'd always, wanted a good, meaningful relationship with her. I would tell her about my day, even if she wasn't listening, in hopes that I would get a response out of her. And after a long couple of years of literally trying to just like hug on her, hoping to get like a little something back, I
Hmm.
just stopped,
Yeah,
you know. And part of me as a kid was like, well, maybe if I stop, she'll kind of reciprocate or
yeah,
check in. And she never felt the need to. She never checked in. And it honestly only spiraled me a little bit deeper into this kind of sadness about what relationships are and what they mean to people, because and why they mean so much to me, but
Right.
nothing to her.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
I know this now as an adult that, hurt people hurt people. And it's not an excuse for what our moms have done to us. But with Mother's Day coming up, I think that this is a very valid topic. My sister and I had struggled, and I have two sisters. One I'm not in communication with because they still live with my mother. So they're trying to make sure that they're being respectful of the house in which they live in and know that mom doesn't want to have a relationship with me or, that kind of thing. But my other sister is a little more brazen. It's like they got me super brazen, then they got brazen light, and then not at all. You know, like that's how it goes with me. I am intense in all ways. It is
So
true.
0 calories, 0 brazen.
Correct. Correct. It's the Scorpio in me. I can't fight it. But
Mhm.
it's just interesting that there's different relationships with different kinds of mothers. And I had tried so hard, like sending postcards because she wouldn't open up my mail, saying that, I want a relationship with you, even if it's just birthday and Christmas cards and, holiday, even if it's just me sending pictures of the grandkids, something, just something. And it was never reciprocated. And I realize now that she didn't want to fix anything because in her mental illness, she didn't think she did anything wrong. She actually thought I was the one that did the things wrong. Now, when the state takes you away from your parents, especially in California, let me just say that generally they try to put families back together. So
Mhm.
when it is dissolved, a parent relationship with the kid, relationship, when it gets dissolved, it's not something that the court can repair. And then what are you left with when you're adult trying to put a family back together? I had made my sister and I were like, what kind of Mother's Day card do we do? Like,
The-
thanks for not killing us, or you kept us alive for enough time. Like, well, you didn't really put us first. Like, some of these mushy cards are so offensive to me. It's crap. And
Mhm.
then I feel some weird disconnect on Mother's Day when I'm being treated well, because then I feel like I don't deserve it. And I don't know what to do with that.
It's and the
Hard.
thing is like you're trying not to project it too, and so it's
Yeah.
like this weird liminal space of you're just like, you know, neutral face when internally you're probably just like,
Yeah.
I don't,
Uh,
you
yeah.
know, and that's what happens with these relationships. They leave you kind of
Yeah.
bruised, and you try to correct, but then you overcorrect, and then it's because you're trying not to repeat it so hard that you end up like veering 180 in the other direction,
That is
and
so true.
it's hard.
You
And
grew up with siblings, right? You've had
yeah,
some siblings?
I grew up with an older brother who was, he was a couple years older, so he was always out of the house, but,
Hmm.
dad's favorite,
Hmm.
all that stuff. And then I had to raise my younger brother,
Hmm.
um, who was, who had to be like really taken care of, being very heavily on the autism spectrum, that he was
Okay.
a little bit harder on development to be able to understand or learn things. And so it put me in this weird spot where I was not allowed to have like this childhood.
Yeah.
And so learning relationships and then affect my childhood not being given to me, like I was put in this spot where like, what do I do? Like I can't even act out because I have somebody who's kind of relying on me to be there when
Right.
he has nobody, and it broke my heart whenever I had to eventually leave the house for my own mental like safety.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was in a really dark place before that time, and so like I guess that's why I kind of like whenever I have these relationships, I kind of really like latch on, and I'm like asking you all these weird ass questions that nobody would, like, it's like, what's your favorite color? What about whenever it's rain? What about like,
That is the thing. That
mhm.
is the thing. I almost feel like with every relationship, I got to go through the interview process first to see whether or not you're friend worthy. I know that sucks, but I got trauma.
Mhm.
And this is survival mechanisms for you and I. Like it is just what it is. We had a great time when we were working together on
Mhm.
mornings or whatever. We would talk about all kinds of
Yeah,
crazy
everything.
things. Everything. I mean, yeah. And then also the commitment to our friendship. Because there's a big age difference between the two of us. And I didn't want to be nobody's mama. I've been a mama to everybody, but I could be big sister,
Yeah.
or not necessarily auntie, but because that has a whole nother meaning.
No kidding.
um, but it's like a commitment. It's like we're not always going to agree, and you and I have had some fights and some disagreements or whatever, but the honesty and the transparency to be like, it's never going to be too big that we can't work it out,
Mhm.
and we're going to talk about it when it's small so it doesn't fester into something else. That
Mhm.
communication and that commitment to you, even though I might be uncomfortable or you might be uncomfortable in that moment, we'll calm down and then we're going to talk because you're important to me.
And I
And
guess,
knowing that, we may not all get there in the same day, but we're going to
mhm.
get there.
And I guess that's like a weird thing that we both kind of clicked on, is like pause, both of us, like almost in sync. Like, let's both pause. We'll
Yep.
come back, and then
Yeah.
we'll hash this out. Like,
Mhm.
because that we both like have relationships down so much to like a a niche, because we've gone through it. And not to say that it
Mhm.
everybody has to, but like
Right.
it's good to have this foundational talks with the people that you care about, because sometimes there's security with checking in with somebody you haven't talked to in a minute.
Yeah.
Hey, are we still good? I just wanted to let you know, hey, I love you, I miss you.
Mhm.
And some of these things kind of really kind of cement for people, especially if they're going through a hard time,
Yeah.
that they're still loved. You still care about them.
Yeah.
Somebody's out there and you're in their corner for them.
It's true. And I don't know about you, but it happens with me. It's if I have friends that go silent because they're going through something and they didn't let me know that they need some space, I will spiral to a point where I'm like, do they hate me? Is everything okay? Like, is or whatever? Did I say something? Like, because then
Mhm.
I am now in abused kid mode,
Mhm.
going, now are these people that I invested so much time and energy and love into going to leave me as well? There's some serious abandonment issues that I have. And so, like, when I have friends to this caliber, to your caliber, like you see me checking in all the time. If a platform has a voice text, I'm gonna send it. If there's a video, even better. You know why? Because I want you to hear the tone of my voice, because that sound of my voice is connection. My face is connect is connection, and I want you to see the smile on my face when I'm checking in, that kind of stuff. I love Marco Polo for this, and everybody hates me for it, but guess what? I love you, and I'm going to send you 12,000 messages through Instagram of all the things that I like and share because I love you. That's what's
Well,
going to happen.
and that's something we kind of agree on too, because like I think the like abused kid and both of us, like understand how words, letters, all these can get twisted so
Yeah.
many different ways, that if we just talk through voice memo, Marco Polo, then you
Mhm.
can hear it in our voice that nothing about this can be like misconstrued, and you can hear the sincerity in my voice and my tone,
Yeah.
that I really am looking out for you. I miss you, I love you,
Mhm.
because you don't want to hurt people. And I think that's kind of the abused kid in both of us, is that
Yeah.
that hurts us so much to know, even accidentally, that we hurt somebody with the thing that we said.
Correct. Because
Like, there's
we
nothing
so
worse.
so desperately do not want to be the people who hurt us.
Hmm.
So desperately. And I remember I got some kickback when I first started Truth Talk and some of my stuff on this channel. And they're like, well, why are you doing all this stuff for community? You're like, you're not getting paid to do any of that stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting paid. Like, why do you connect with somebody like so deeply, like you go all in or whatever? I don't want people to feel what I felt. There's something in me that just, and I, listen, I've got some deities that I work with that are very much community connected. And it, it it's like a soul journey for me. It's like I just can't stop if I know somebody is out there that needs something, and even if it's just a smile or a joke or somebody to talk to, like I have a connection with that person, and who am I to just ignore that connection? And I know that we live in this day and age where, especially, are you considered a millennial?
Yeah.
Okay. I they got away. There's certain generations that got away from just picking up the phone and talking, and by lessening that, you actually kind of dilute your connection, if you will.
Mhm.
You do. So then you just start, just you see them every now and again on a Facebook post and you're like, oh yeah, I remember this person.
Mhm.
And it's sad to me. So if you're getting messages from me, it's because I truly care.
And it's just, relationships with me are always difficult because one being, if nobody knows already, I'm on the autism spectrum. So like making those meaningful connections
Hmm.
have always been a strange like surface
Yeah.
area for me because I'm like, how I see these two people click like nothing, and I'm like,
Right.
how what do you do? Like, did they just say hi? Did they just like,
Hmm.
I'm breaking it down 30 ways to Sunday because I just do not get, and then also growing up without, understanding relationships as a whole with my own parents
Yeah.
being absent or, unapproachable.
Yeah.
So like it was always this weird area for me to be able to like talk to people, but like it also meant so much to me that in the opposite way, that once I did talk to somebody and we did click, that
Hmm.
how much that relationship means to me, the fact that I was able to do it and make
Yeah.
something and know this person on a fundamental level,
Yeah.
and at first it caused a little bit of heartbreak because some of these people were like, whoa, you're coming off kind of strong, like, and I would get pushed away time and time again until like I
Because
was
they weren't looking for an authentic connection. And you
Mhm.
and I are personalities that just like we don't know what to do with that
We're
because that
all
feels
in.
fake to us.
We're all in with our
All in. Yeah.
and there's no half-hearting anything when it comes to
Hmm.
people like us because that's all we got from anybody whenever we were younger as an abused kid.
Hmm.
And so we're not going to give anybody half anything whenever we meet them, whenever we get to know them,
Hmm.
because we know what it's like to be shorted.
Yeah. And we'll
Yeah.
do one of two things. We'll either not approach and wait for somebody else to make the first move because we're so like, "Nah, I don't know how they're going to take it," or we'll shut ourselves away thinking that, well, they're not going to like us anyway. So, whatever. And I know that I'm intense and I know that I'm a lot, but I also know that I'm pretty awesome as well. But it takes a while to get there, because you still hear those voices in your head that were told to you, by your parents or by, you know, various relationships. They could be friend relationships, they can be whatever. Not everybody is on the same journey or seeking these types of relationships. And I know Kim's in the chat, and she has learned why I've been kind of choosy with my friends, especially as a YouTuber, because there's a lot of viewers that kind of came in and just sort of like spun us around and, were in our house and all that other stuff. And we were like taken advantage of, and they didn't want to be the kind of friend that they said that they wanted to be. And they just couldn't handle my kind of friendship because my kind of friendship is all in. My kind of friendship is like, checking in, and it's not to be in somebody's business, but it's because you generally care about that person, so you put in the effort, you put in the time. I'm not a fly by night friend that's just going to check on you once a year and be and then call ourselves best friends. That's not going to ever happen. Like that's not sustainable. It's not
Mhm.
right. That's an acquaintance.
Yes.
Acquaintance. No.
And at the end of the day too, like I like there's no heartbreak worse than feeling completely alone and isolated. And so like that
Mhm.
knowing that, and you've probably felt similar too, like knowing that we don't want anybody to feel the same way we've
It's
felt.
true. It's
There's
true.
nothing worse than feeling like you're completely alone and there's nobody to talk to.
Hmm.
And so there are times where I do see somebody who's completely alone and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm gonna do the thing.
I'm
Oh.
gonna do the thing. I'm so scared, but I'm gonna do the
Yep.
thing. I'm gonna like, oh, it's gonna hurt. Oh, they're gonna smack me. No. Okay.
Yep. But then I go out of my way and they end up being the sweetest, kindest person and we hit
Yeah.
it off and I
Yeah.
make a friendship where I didn't even think there was one to be made.
Yeah.
And it's fun, it's crazy, it's like, and that's what life is,
Yeah.
you know. And we as humans are made to have these relationships with the people, but we as humans also have the ability to choose,
Hmm.
you know. So like when I chose to be, in a family with you, Raven, like because you mean that much to me,
Oh, that make
like
me
like
cry.
because we relate on so many things, like the age difference doesn't mean anything because you are my sister. Like I love you so much, and getting to
That's
know
so
the people that like Kim, love Kim, and I need to
ah,
meet up with Kim. We need to get tacos sometime. Like
yes, we do. We need some tacos, definitely.
we need to hit Kim up.
Some tacos. Oh gosh,
You know,
it is the truth. No, I remember when you first came, and I felt that wall. Like I absolutely felt that wall, and I'm like, I'm gonna crack it, and I'm good at it. I'm really
mm,
good at it. I somehow I don't know what my charm is. I mean, I roll a 20. My charisma. There's something about it. I'll find a way, and especially when I know that somebody. Maybe I'm like Nanny McPhee.
oh my God, you kind of
When
are.
you need me, I am there.
Uh, Part of me like watches you in action though, and it feels like you kind of take 10 pages from Bear's book on, that extreme like charismatic, like when you see somebody and that you're like, I'm gonna make that person my friend, and you just
Uh,
leap in there, and I'm just like, how did she do
uh,
it? What the heck?
I am persistent. Draven
Like,
is. Yeah, the chat is blowing up right now, like blowing up. I love all y'all in the chat. You guys are great. Draven, Kim, Lizzie, Sherry. Y'all are so cute. And y'all are good friends. I consider all of y'all good friends. And Draven, I love the fact that you're here and talking about these things because also from a man's perspective, these are just as valid and feelings should be not a gender thing. You know what I mean? So I love that we're getting that connection through the chat. And Kim says yes, tacos. Absolutely. The tacos.
yes,
Yeah, of
heck yeah,
course, the
she
tacos.
knows all the spots.
Yeah. I don't know if I just watch Dreamgirls too much, and you're gonna love me. Like that is the thing, and it takes me back when somebody refuses me, because then I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? But as I've gotten older, I'm going to tell you right now, it's like you don't deserve this. You don't even know what this is. I am too good for you. I'm going to give you toothache. You got to go do your thing. I get it. I'm not safe for you because I'm a lot.
Mhm.
I'm a lot.
Well, that's the thing at the end of the day too. Like, at first it hurts so much to kind of be rejected by people, but after a while, you grow to understand maybe they just didn't really want an all-in relationship, and that's okay. I'm just not. I'm too much, and that's okay. That's nothing wrong with that. And
That's
because
true.
there's people that's been in our lives that have told us, you are
Hmm.
too much. This is a lot. You need to quit. You need to like be anything less than what you are.
Hmm.
And anymore now, as growing up and as an adult, I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna be even more because I was
Damn
told that I'm
straight.
too less. Like to
Yeah.
like at that point, like because
Damn straight. Because we're vibrating on this frequency. Why? Because we've chosen a healing path. We've chosen to try to make those changes, not only for ourselves and our families, but also those relationships that are chosen to us. We're trying to create a world that we want to live in and be with various people. And it is not everybody wants this journey. Everybody there, I mean, I'm going to tell you that there's a lot of people that are just very superficial because that's all that they have the space for. They haven't healed or they just don't want it. Or maybe they have their pack and they're good with them and they don't want any new friends. I remember there was a spot in probably around 2019. I was like, no new friends. I'm good. No new friends. I don't want them. I don't have the time. I don't, no, no, no. Like didn't want to do it. But it's neat to actually have it work out. And when it does, it's amazing. And I've gotten some kickback and some pushback going, well, my relationship with Bijan. Okay. She's in her 20s, right? And people are like, you have no business being a friend to somebody so young. And she calls me auntie, because she's like adopted Bear and I or
yeah.
whatever. I have a new friend at work that's 19 and she's an intern and we hit it off. We talk about all the different kinds of colors of Converse. We're talking about gaming. We're talking about all these things or whatever. And people looking at me like, how are you, a 50-year-old woman, connecting with a 19-year-old person? Why? Because it's a soul connection, because it's about chemistry and understanding the person and not their age, not their gender, not the color of their skin. It's about energy, is what it is. It's
And
really about energy.
and also it's about your approach,
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, you and I hate small talk. Like, I don't give a shit about the weather. Like, tell me the last thing that made you laugh out loud so hard
True,
that you cried. Like, tell
true.
me the last thing that really just you thought was immensely beautiful. Like, tell me a little bit more about, the last memory you had with somebody you loved. Like, just like, let's get deep
Let's get
because
deep.
I don't give a
Yeah,
shit about the weather. I can look outside.
correct. Correct, correct, correct. Yeah, I see Lizzie says no, we need multi-age relationships. We absolutely do. And we need to be able to be friends with, you know, opposite sex or all the sexes or all that other stuff. Like it helps us expand. It only helps us expand. Like it is. And when you find somebody that's like down, like let's do the friendship thing, it's like, oh, thank you. Like absolutely thank you. Like thank you so much.
Well,
Oh,
and there's so much to be learned from other people that you don't like know. There's connections help you grow as a person because there's perspectives that they
yeah.
offer that you don't have or you might not even be aware of. They
Yeah.
open up so many avenues, and that's what you know not trying to bring politics into the way,
You
but
can
like
go ahead.
that's the difference between us and other people of different belief
Yeah.
systems
Yeah.
is that we like challenge each other to grow. Like, hey, you have a perspective on this. Well, whenever I personally, as somebody of this, perspective, encounter this is what happens, and I just
Mhm.
wanted you to see that. And it might be something you never ever would have considered because from your perspective, you're not even realizing somebody else's. And we challenge each other to grow. We
Mhm.
challenge each other to learn new things. And that's
Mhm.
what these meaningful relationships give us. And why it's super amazing when you can have multiple different people, different age groups, different, backgrounds of everything like in your life because you learn what it means to be fundamentally human.
Fundamentally human and having relationships that aren't don't require you to be performative. You can be authentically yourself. There's no repercussions. What do you call it? There's a term for this that's not coming to mind, but anyhow, I mean that term. Somebody out there, please read my head. Oh, menopause.
You know, and
Awkward. Um,
but like
um,
something you said earlier too kind of resonated with me too. Like, because whenever it came to meeting up with people, maybe they have some healing that, they haven't gone through yet,
yeah,
that they see in us that we have, that essentially probably pushes back,
yeah,
kind of like the opposite ends of a magnet. Or
yeah.
wait, no, is it the same? I forget.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Science. But because I've had people tell me before that, like, you come off completely authentic, and
Mhm.
it basically puts a mirror up to what I'm lacking.
Yes. And that's when we get those friendships that shrink away from us because they're just not ready for that kind of depth. They're just, and, maybe it's something, broken in them, or maybe it's, their choice to, I don't know. I can't speak for
Mhm.
those people. I just know that it's not that I'm going to waste my time, but if I've tried and I've tried, then there's a point where I'll stop sending the messages to see if I get anything back. And then if I realize that it's not reciprocal, then I just kind of let it go. And that's what I've been doing a lot because I'm making room for more authentic relationships that are actually feeding my soul and
Mhm.
giving me a reciprocal a reciprocal relationship that was really all that I was after. Yeah, I
And
have a funny moment.
mhm.
I'm going to make you laugh because there was a storm that was coming and I sent you a screenshot of said storm and I'm like, doesn't this look like a particular body? Like it was
Oh
a
my
raging
god.
storm.
And then I get a random text from Bear. No, because you said it's Nathan, and then I get a text from Bear saying skeet skeet or something. And I'm just like, what
What
is
is
happening? And then
it
Nathan's
was, it
helping
was
me put the
crazy.
pieces together, and I'm like,
It was so funny
oh my
because we were cracking up. I said, "Look at this!" And we were laughing, and then we sent it. I sent it to Nathan. I could hear Nathan
yeah,
laughing, and then you started. We're all like just
yeah.
cackling in our own rooms. It was hilarious. That was a
Oh
good time. That was
god,
a good moment. Oh,
literally, it.
fun stuff. Oh, oh
But
gosh.
we that's the point of these relationships, is that you find people that really spark that joy in you. And I guess what you said earlier is something I kind of do too with people. I kind of test, like, hey,
Mm-hmm,
are we still there, like, are we still
mm-hmm.
friends, like,
I know.
'cause I've been tugging at this line for a long time and I haven't felt anything back, like,
Right.
and that might come off as harsh to cut off
Mm-hmm.
relationships like that,
Mm-hmm.
but we only do it so, like you said, we can make room for the people that really
Yeah.
want to develop these meaningful connections and talk, and
Yeah.
have time for us just as much as we do them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know.
It's true. It's true. And it's like it actually hurts us. I read about this, and Lizzie can confirm because she's an actual counselor. But when you freeze somebody out or you punish them or whatever, these were tactics that our parents did to us, or past relations have done to us. And so when a friend does that to you, it's a type of abuse. It's a type of neglect, and it's very cruel. It's like one of the cruelest things that you can do to somebody, because getting
There's no
into a
closure.
fight, yeah, getting into a fight or an altercation, there's emotion behind it. But when you remove all emotion and you're like, what's going on? It's mind fucking in a horrible, horrible way to do to somebody. So if you are that person out there that does need your space, check in with your friends and say, hey, I'm going through something. I just need like a few days. You're probably not going to hear from me, but the people that really do mean something to you and you have good connections out there, please, by all means, I'm telling you from somebody who hurts repeatedly from this type of behavior, absolutely take your space. I don't want to be in your business, but I also care. And when you remove my side of the relationship and I'm no longer allowed to be a friend and help you through something, what do we really have? You can't do it all by yourself. And if you're choosing to be friends or chosen family with that person, it's our job
Hmm.
really to check in and to connect. And when you take that away from us, we're not able to help, we're not able to comfort, we're not able to know what's going on. It's diabolical in our brains and our hearts. It really is.
And sometimes, it's hard for even us to be able to say that we need space because we don't want
Yeah.
other people to take that as we're freezing them out. So we'll still be like a bleeding heart and reach out
Yep.
to these people, even though we're completely exhausted, running on fumes. And that's a lesson I've had to learn that, like, I need to be okay with telling people I need a minute, like, because
Yeah.
I'm drowning and I need a half second to catch my breath.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, I love
And
that.
yeah, even when like we were roommates too. And I love the fact that you guys found a place on the island. You're only 10 minutes away because that makes my heart sing. I'm like, let's go to the beach. Let's go to the plant store. Let's go to the farmer's market. We got stuff. And I also put you guys on the guest list for the pool, by the way. So if you need to come get your swim on, I am your pool attendant for the
Or
weekends. Come on down. I'll get you a little pass and all the things, and you can check on into the pool. Anyhow,
or
but it I don't even know where I was going with that. I was going with somewhere. Oh, when we were roommates, we even had like kind of not unspoken rules necessarily, but I guess they were spoken rules, but it's like if somebody's in their space, you know what I mean, let them be in their space, send a text message instead of calling out. Sometimes just having the knock on the door can create some anxiety. It's like, is it okay for me to come down? Is it all, are you in a headspace? And y'all knew that if I was watching Housewives, you're going to get an earful of something because I'm going to tell you about Erica Jane and
yes.
Sutton and what is happening with Denise Richards. And I'll tell you now,
Oh,
here's my newest one. So from Beverly Hills Housewives, my favorite is now Bose. And if you
mhm.
don't know who Bose was, she was the CEO for Amazon, CEO for
Oh,
Netflix.
yes, yeah.
Girlfriend is this gorgeous, statuesque Black woman of like, she is power. She is all the things. I am like, maybe I need her as a deity because I'm like, she's given it. She is amazing. And I got a little bit of a crush. However, a little bit of a crush. She said something to like in the what was it? The reunion where they really like all like fangs out. Like it is a big deal for the reunion, right? Because they're going to talk about the whole season and they kind of get into it. Well, somebody comes to her and she's just like, "Well, you kind of came on strong," and she's like, "I am strong." What do you do with that? You're like, get out of
Yeah.
the way. She coming
Hmm.
for you. Our love is strong. Not everybody can receive it. They don't have the vessel for it. Sometimes they can't hold it. They don't understand it. But when you find those connections, you do everything you possibly can to keep them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And there was when it comes to, and that follows in line with communication because there was a funny moment where we worked together and there was like I think either one of us, I think I was going through something for a minute there, and you had said something funny to me because you're like, do you want to talk shit or do you want to fix shit? Which one? Like, because like I could be there for you, or we can like work some. I can help you work. Figure it out.
Do you need me emotionally or
Like,
do I need to
yeah,
go get a shovel? What are we
like
doing?
and it makes me cackle a little bit because like I love that because like it helps break that tension,
It's
but
so
also like I'm
huh?
here for you. Do we need to fix something or do
Yeah.
you want to like talk through it? Like
That's so
I was,
funny.
it
It's
still
true.
makes
I'm
me,
like, are we going to the lab? What are we doing? Are you getting in the car? Are we going for drinks? What's
yeah.
happening? What's going?
Midnight margaritas, like
We're doing it.
Mhm.
We're doing it. Does this require a fire in the yard because I got to clean up dog poop? What are we doing? What are we doing?
You know, and that just falls in line with these meaningful connections is that you can pull on them and not feel like you're being selfish.
Yeah,
You're allowed, like, if
yeah,
these that you that's why it makes all the like that's why it's so meaningful to be able to make these connections, and it matters so much to make these meaningful connections because everybody needs an outlet to
yeah.
be able to talk through stuff. And that person can either be ready and okay to receive and listen and help you work through it,
Mm-hmm.
or if they need time to,
Yeah,
they can be able to put up that boundary and say, I'm not in a good space to talk about it right now, but can we
right.
follow up with it an hour from now, a day from now? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm more than happy to be there. That way, you're letting that person know, I can't be here for you like this second because I'm presently going through stuff, but I
Mm-hmm.
can in a minute from now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so important to have that dialogue
Mm-hmm.
because, people like me, or, and I'm going to spiral with that. I'm going to be like, are they mad at me? Do they hate me? Or did I say
Yeah.
something?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
we're, we're going to
All
go
of a
down
sudden,
these rabbit
we're
holes.
dodging, we're weaving.
And, both of us are taking our spouses with us. Do you think, what about when they said, look at this? Like, does
Yeah.
this look like, like we're
You
taking
and
our
I have done
spouses?
that at work. We've
Yeah.
done that at work because we'll have these like debriefs when we're going home. And then we're like, okay, we're getting ready. Okay, we're getting ready. And, okay, if she says this, we're going to go high. Okay, we're going to go high. Like,
Mhm.
we're not going to go low. And then if it's really bad, we're just going to close our doors.
Like literally, like we need that validation, and people as a whole need that validation, but like
Like,
I need it more, but
yeah,
like, and that's okay.
it's okay. It's okay. That is funny. That is so funny. And, there's different friendships, different things happen with different types of friends. Like I know that there's certain friends that I can be vulnerable with and be like, hey, can you check me right now? Because I said this and this and this. Did that come off this way? Because I meant it like that way. What is your opinion on that?
Mhm.
Because I want to grow and I want to be better. And I do need that checking. That checking helps me. I don't know, it regulates me. Um, and there's certain people that I can do that with. And there's certain people that I know don't want that. So then I'll lean in on more of my Virgo types, or my Cancer types, my Pisces types, will really help me with that. But then there's action people that I know are better at planning and better at, the execution of certain things that we want to envision or that we have envisioned and trying to make it a reality. There's idea people. Nathan, your spouse, is like one of my best idea people. Doesn't mean that he's going to do it.
Yes, like
Right.
let's be specific
Doesn't
here.
mean he's going to do it, but he is fantastic because when he is on, he is fucking on. And he has got all the ideas, and then he'll have an idea of the execution. His staff is social. I used to like put him in charge of things, and I'm like, because he didn't go back to it because he forgot. It wasn't in the moment.
He's
So
the
then
idea guy, you're the execution person. You like,
right. There's different people and different relationships for different things, and that is okay. That is okay. You don't want to wear somebody out with all this love because it's a lot.
Mhm.
I
And
feel like only the cancers can take it, aka
mhm.
snow. Snow knows.
We
Snow
love
knows all the things. Yes.
like the stuff that Snow, has to take to the grave. It's immense, but
Everybody
she's
tends
here
to
for
know
it, and she wants
everything.
to know
She's
more.
like, I'm tired.
She wants to know more though too. She's like, "Ooh, tell me more,"
Oh,
like
yes.
because she doesn't want to be a part of it. She just wants to be like, "Ooh, that's spicy."
Tell me the tea.
Like,
Over the place. I'm wearing an apron. Like
yes, she has like a screaming baby and stuff, and she's
she
like,
don't care. No, she
"No."
does not care. Yeah,
I love her so much,
I do
but she's
too.
like willing to fight for you too. I love that
I
part of
know.
her.
When snow gets spicy, it is the cutest little
Yes.
thing. It's little icicles coming at you. Boy, whew, you better get
Mhm.
ready. Better get ready because she'll penetrate. She'll
There's
get in there.
no hell like a cancer that's been scorned.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. Well, we're coming to the end. Is there any closing anything that you wanna leave with anybody?
You know,
Closing words
um,
of wisdoms?
as we grow older, and that comes for anybody of any age, like we don't lose sight of the relationships that made us happy. We latch onto them even tighter
Mhm,
and help them grow as well.
mhm,
So, if you can find at least one person in your life that you have been hesitant to
mhm.
meet up with, to talk to, maybe try reaching out because maybe they're wanting to reach out to you and they're just as intimidated, you
That's
know?
true, or there's been yeah, so much time that has gone past that they feel like, "Oh, they don't wanna talk to me anymore because they've
Mhm.
moved on to other things." It's Anthony. There's his hi.
Hi.
Um, Um, absolutely, absolutely. I'll say that with Mother's Day and Father's Day, coming up, we've got those big days, and those can be just as hard, if not harder, than the holidays for certain people. Reach out to the people that give you that high vibration. Stay busy those days if there's some trauma attached to those things. Even if it's just working a half a day or volunteering somewhere, but make sure try to stay away from feel good movies. Sometimes those hit on a different way. Like, go for a walk, be busy, spend time with some friends, make it a holiday that is giving you the vibes that you want without all of the heavy because it is hard because it can be hard. It can be hard. So just take care of yourself during these holidays that are coming up and make it what you want them to be. There's
You're,
no rules in this playbook called life. There really isn't. Really, everybody's just making this shit up. So
and if they say they aren't, they're lying.
they're lying. Yeah, they're lying. You got to do you, boo, no matter what. Do you. Absolutely. Oh, we got a so too. So true. Oh, Snow. Snow, the spider in the middle of the web. I can call the tea. It is
Uh,
true. She's so cute. She is one of my favorite people on this planet.
I love her so
I
much.
love her so much. Well, if anybody wants to be on Truth Talk and you have like a YouTube channel or whatever, and you just want to come on and you want to do something very similar to this, reach out to me, reach out in the comments. Let me know if you're watching this on the replay so that I can see it. I'd be happy to book you. I do have some openings coming up in the next months, and we can get something going. And Anthony, thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for sharing some very vulnerable stuff. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And we'll chat with you later.
Hmm.
Mwah! Mwah!
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Hmm.